Ace Combat Infinity is a free-to-play combat flight simulator video game developed by Project Aces exclusively for the PlayStation 3. It is the 18th title in the Ace Combat series, and was released worldwide at the end of May 2014. It is the first free-to-play title in the Ace Combat series. Unlike most games in the series, Infinity takes place on Earth. However, it includes certain elements from past Ace Combat games, including historical events, organizations, superweapons, and original aircraft. Gameplay: the game has 3 modes: story, tutorial, and the multiplayer deathmatch cooperative mode. Players log onto the game itself through their PlayStation Network accounts. To fly in the story or multiplayer missions, the player will use 1 fuel credit. 3 supplied fuel units are rechargeable after a set period of time, while stocked fuel credits are available as a mission reward or bought at the PlayStation Store. A lobby system allows the players to go through 8 story missions and 39 multiplayer missions, with a few being special raid missions that involve players taking on superweapons. Infinity has around 50 licensed jet aircraft representing modern designs from the United States, Europe, and Russia, with the F-4 Phantom as the player's first plane. Further updates since the game's release gave players a chance to use some of the Ace Combat franchise's iconic superfighters as well as the Japanese ATDO Shinshin technology demonstrator. As they play through the game, they can earn enough experience points to advance in rank and in the global leaderboards for every tournament. The game's mission reward system is based on drops of red or gold boxes. Aside from possibly earning 1, 3, or 5 stocked fuel credits, players can win small amounts of credit, aircraft paint schemes and logos, supply ticket virtual coupons, and high-performance versions of existing airplanes. The supply tickets are to be exchanged in a game catalog for certain special airplanes, skins and logos, radio messages, and nicknames. Players will also have a chance to research upgrades to their current aircraft through a special development tree, which will include options for new aircraft, aircraft parts, and weapons. The special aircraft, skins and logos include those from other Ace Combat titles, including the original Scarface Squadron skins from the first Ace Combat game as well as those from notable air combat franchises such as Area 88 and Namco's own game franchises. To celebrate the 60th anniversary of the JASDF, Namco Bandai featured a special F-15J and F-2A that were featured at the 2014 Air Festival at Mysore Air Base in Japan. The U.S. Department of Defense also authorized the use of the VF-84/VF-103 Jolly Roger high-visibility paint schemes for the F-14D and FA-18F, the VMFA-232 skin for the FA-18F, as well as renditions of the F-117, F-15C and F-16C in U.S. flag livery. In mid-September 2015, the game's 11th update was released and introduced piston fighters from the Second World War such as the P-38 Lightning, Messerschmitt Bf-109, Supermarine Spitfire and the A-6M0. Story. Setting and characters. Ace Combat Infinity is set in an alternate timeline, in which Earth was ravaged by the Ulysses disaster. In 1994, a fictional asteroid collides with one of Jupiter's moons, 5254 Ulysses. This event sends about 10,000 meteors heading for Earth, all expected to impact the planet in 5 years' time. Faced with the prospect of extinction, the world's major superpowers built Stonehenge, a network of anti-air railguns across the planet. The meteor storm finally hits Earth in July 1999. While Stonehenge destroys enough of the inbound meteors to prevent human extinction, the remaining meteors still ravaged about 20% of the Earth's surface, destabilizing the economy and collapsing the world order. The disaster hits Europe and Asia especially hard, forcing the nations to reorganize and create automated refugee zones. 20 years later, the United Nations forces finds itself fighting against terrorist organizations around the world. To better combat the terrorist threat, the UN hires Arrows Air Defense and Security, a private military company specializing in aerial warfare. The player character and silent protagonist, callsign Reaper, is a rookie pilot employed by Arrows. Arrows assigns Reaper to the Bone Arrow Squadron, which includes longtime pilot Omega, and ace veteran Viper. Partway through the story, Bone Arrow becomes rivals with Ridgeback's Squadron, a squadron of elite UNF pilots headed by Leader Slash, and his second-in-command, Edge. The main antagonist forces are the Sons of Troia, a group of armed terrorists who later create an independent federation of USEA, or USEA Federation. Reaper's actions against the Sons of Troia and USEA soon make him a recognized mercenary ace pilot. Plot equals, in early 2019, Reaper, a new recruit for the Arrows PMC's Bone Arrows Squadron, is deployed for his first mission in Tokyo, working with teammate Omega to destroy several UAVs attacking the UNF Pacific Fleet stationed in the harbor. The two are subsequently redeployed, alongside veteran pilot Viper, to defend the Kimona Aerospace Center in the West Indies against another airstrike. Evidence points to the aircraft being used by a terrorist group called the Sons of Troia, but other materials bear the markings of an international company called Werner Noah Enterprises, which denies involvement. The Bone Arrows join the UN forces in a rescue operation to save the Greymen, a top circle of world leaders who were kidnapped by the Sons of Troia and held somewhere in the IEI refugee zone in Russia. The Union troops reach the Greymen's purported location, but the hostages are nowhere to be found, and are promptly surprised by a barrage of railgun fire. The Bone Arrows and the UN's elite Ridgeback team are among the UN units able to escape the area. The Union confirms that the shots came from a Turkish Stonehenge Type 3 base, captured by the Sons of Troia prior to the rescue operation. The Bone Arrows, the Ridgebacks and the UN Marines work together to destroy the gun installation, with Reaper gradually gaining a reputation. The Sons of Troia make a public statement after the Stonehenge raid through its leader Kakpa Cohen, a former Werner Noah executive fired by the UN for working on a secret space weapons project. Cohen claims the UN has been fully concentrated on the wishes of the world superpowers, not the Ulysses refugees. Having executed the 9 Greymen, he declares the creation of USEA, a federation of multiple nations across the southern Eurasian continent. All military forces in southern Eurasia pledge loyalty to USEA and take over their occupying regions. The UN, slow to respond and few in number, sends all of their forces to counter-attack the USEAN forces in Dubai and Tokyo. Bone Arrow and the Ridgebacks fly to Tokyo to aid the UNF assault, but run into tough opposition led by a large airborne fortress and an advanced aircraft, known as the Butterfly Master, controlling laser-armed drones. During the battle, Slash ejects but is killed by the drones. His wingman, Edge, is enraged and it takes Viper to restrain her. Reaper takes down the Butterfly Master and leads the assault against the airborne command cruiser. The UNF liberates Tokyo and forces the USEANs to retreat. Having taken heavy losses in the operation, the Arrows accept the UNF's offer to join Task Force 118 Arrowblades, a special combat force to take on the USEAN army alongside the Ridgebacks and several mercenary units. Their first mission is to attack an ICBM launch facility located in Russia's Avalon Dam. With an AL-1B missile interceptor providing cover to stop any missile launches, the Arrowblades forces stream through a canyon to attack Avalon Dam and have the UN Marines open the silo doors. However, despite destroying the ICBMs, the strike team are caught unaware of another ICBM prepared for launch against Washington, D.C. All remaining planes successfully shoot down the missile. Upon returning to base, they find out that the USEAN forces wanted to bring the war to the United States, and that the AL-1B had been mysteriously shot down. In May 2020, the UNF scrambles Task Force 118 from their base in San Diego to intercept a large wave of USEAN planes that took off from South America and encounter them over Area B7 in Nevada. Edge is badly hit over the course of the battle and is forced to withdraw. The Union planes pull out after defeating all enemy aircraft, but the Butterfly Master, believed killed in the Tokyo operation, reappears with a formation of drones and kills Javelin 3. The Arrowblades destroy the Butterfly Master's plane, but learn that the warplane is a combat drone. 5 months later, Task Force 118 and the UNF take the fight to USEA by launching Operation Bunker Shot, an amphibious operation targeting USEAN territory in Eastern Europe. The landing forces who come ashore in Croatia are attacked by an orbital weapon, revealed to be the project Cohen was working on. The remainder of the UNF invasion force break through and the USEAN forces withdraw, signifying the start of a long campaign to defeat USEA. Development: Infinity had a lengthy teaser campaign by Bandai Namco and Kazutoki Kono, consisting of posts from the Twitter accounts of Project Aces and Kono along with a website for the game published on July 11, giving various hints to fans of the series to decipher. The game's title and certain vague details were announced through a 46-second trailer released on July 19, 2013. On August 2, 2013, a second teaser trailer was released containing more information on the game's single-player elements. The second trailer confirmed that the Stonehenge railgun network from Ace Combat 04, Shattered Skies, along with the Estovacion aerial fleet from Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation, would make an appearance in Infinity. In addition, an AWACS unit codenamed Sky Eye was to be a recurring character, also referencing Ace Combat 04. The game itself was simultaneously announced on Bandai Namco Games Europe's website, where it was also revealed that the game would use the free-to-play model. Olivier Comte, Senior Vice President of Bandai Namco Games Europe, said, "The Ace Combat franchise has evolved dramatically over the years, but never before have we been able to offer its amazing graphics and tactical action for free. The team at Project Aces listens very carefully to its players, and is bringing the best the series has to offer to ACE Combat Infinity, with plenty of new surprises too." On February 4, 2014, a week-long beta for Infinity was publicly released worldwide. It featured the first two missions from the single-player campaign and a work-in-progress competitive multiplayer mode. Players could submit feedback to the development team during the beta phase, which went into consideration during the production of the final release. The game became officially available worldwide in May 2014. Reception: It has a score of 54% on Metacritic. GameSpot awarded it a score of 6 out of 10, saying the soaring bird that has long served as the metaphor for the Ace Combat pilot becomes a vulture fighting over highway carrion, looping away incautiously when the odd car passes a little too close, before returning again for a final few scraps of flesh. References: External links, official website.